So welcome to another episode on my channel. In this video, what I want to talk about is first of all, don't mind the picturesque, or like me and some of my friends will say when we're kids, picturesque scenario or scenery here. It's just we went for family cycle, and normally we would go 10 kilometers, me and the wife and the kids, and we just finished cycling, so I allowed them to go home, and I just stayed back to shoot this video. And don't mind this either, because I intend to start shooting some videos on the streets, asking people questions, kind of like a survey, so to speak. So I'm spicing up my channel a bit. I've done videos indoors, I've done videos outdoors, and now I intend to ask people on the streets their opinions with some interesting questions. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm thinking of doing that sometime in the middle of June or at the beginning of July. The reason is because from next week, today's Sunday, from Tuesday, we're going to Spain on holiday for 2 weeks. I will be back on the 19th or so. And I have to get things ready. I have to get my shirts with the logo on them and things like that. So this would allow for easier interview when I talk, 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 and point the mic. And this is just like a test scenario. And it's pretty comfortable holding it, to be honest. I feel like I'm casting a news. Okay, without wasting too much of our time, the topic of today, or what I want to talk about today, is regarding your income or your salary. Your income can do two things for you. It can either be what sets you free, or it can be what keeps you in bondage. Bear with me. Here's what I mean by that. The first business partner you're ever going to have is your boss. You might hate your job, you might love your job, you might be indifferent about your job, but that's your first business partner. You're going to have to satisfy your business partner, and in exchange, you get wages or income or salary or whatever it is you want, compensation, whatever it is you want to call it. Now, what you do with that is what determines where you go. And it doesn't matter the amount that you make. What matters is what kind of action plan do you have within the scope of reality. Okay, there are people who say dream big, or shoot for the stars, and if you don't hit it, you land in the moon or something like that. Listen, that's good and fine, but you also have to be able to carve it into reality such that you can see it. Because if you cannot see it in foresight or with your third eye, if you cannot see it, you cannot have it. So you have to be able to see it. So when I say your salary can be either what sets you free or what keeps you in bondage, here's what I mean. Michael O'Leary, no, Kevin O'Leary, I believe is his name. Michael O'Leary is the one that owns Ryanair, if I'm right. Kevin O'Leary of Canada, Mr. Wonderful. I once heard him say, "Your salary is what they give you, is the drug they give you to forget about your dreams." That's one perspective of it. Listen, I repeat, your salary is what they give you. Sorry, let me say it again. Your salary is the drug they give you to forget about your own dreams. All right, that's one way of looking at it. So this is where the part where your salary is what keeps you in bondage. You cannot quit your job because you're gonna lose your income. You got people to feed, or you got responsibilities as an adult. We all understand that. But the fact that you can't quit, that that income is gonna keep you in bondage for as long as that's the only source of income you have. The second part of it is that income is what sets you free. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of people think the only way to become, to make it in the world, the only way to make it in the world of finance, or as far as financial stride is concerned, to be financially independent or free, is, especially if you ask most Irish people, I've asked them, they say, oh, yeah, like jokingly, like rob a bank, or um, win the lotto, and that's where it ends. They don't see, although they're saying it in a jovial way, like they're joking, but the truth of the matter is that is all they know about it. So it's either you inherit it, or you rob a bank, or you win the lotto. Either of those three. Every other thing, They cannot uh, envisage, they cannot think beyond that. But if you know, if you believe this, every wealthy person today, the vast majority of them did not start off wealthy. They started off like me and you and put an action plan together and followed that plan. Yes, they tweaked it along the way, but you have to have an action plan. So every penny you make from your income, what percentage of that are you investing? And what are you investing it into? And how much time are you spending on studying that investment? Because the risk, like Robert Kiyosaki said, the risk is not in the investment vehicle. The risk is not in the property, it's not in the stocks, it's not in the business. The risk is you. So if you spend time studying your business or studying your investment or studying the property market, you are less risky than somebody who did it. Think about it this way. Every time people complain about losing money, either in Forex or even crypto or whatever, there are some people who are killing it in the same industry. So it is not the industry that is killing people. It is the decisions the people are making in that industry that is determining their outcomes. So if you know that financial freedom is something that that holds dear to you, that is something you want to achieve sooner than later, then I will advise every time you get paid, you need to be realistic. Don't say you're going to invest 70% because you're going to burn out. Okay, you need to take a portion of it, set it aside for investment, and study that investment. Now you don't have to spend a ton of time. Now here's the interesting thing: the amount of time you spent at your job right now to get you to where you are, if you're a high income earner, you are not going to spend a fraction of that on the investment. You just won't. And it's usually at the initial stage that is most difficult when you don't know anything about it. Once you get to a certain point, you're not trying to learn as much as when you started. Just like an Olympian. Let's say Usain Bolt, for instance. Usain Bolt is the world's fastest man as far as sprinting. But the difference between Usain Bolt and me is a few seconds. Okay, the amount of work it's gonna take me to get to add that few seconds to what I already have is gonna be huge. Okay, a lot, but it's just a few seconds. But if I take it one step at a time, okay, I can still cut off those seconds a bit and a bit. Hopefully, there's no injuries that set you back. Okay, a bit, a bit, a bit. Brian Tracy said, I believe it was Brian Tracy. I also heard Les Brown say the same thing. I think he was quoting Brian Tracy. He said, by the yard, it is hard, but inch by inch, everything is a cinch. So you're going to take a portion of your money, put it in an investment. If you're going to put it in stocks, again, try to not go with what people say, like Apple, like Tesla, like this technology stock, like this one I just heard about. Please be very careful. Don't gamble. This is hard earned money. Safe. Put it in your index or put it in an ETF that tracks your index. Now, if you want to commit more time into researching companies, reading your financial statements, and you have time to do all that, okay, well and good. You can begin to choose individual companies then. But I suspect the vast majority of the people won't. You have a full-time job, you have a life. So most people have families, you have things you're pursuing. The investment thing is just by the side. Why not just invest in something that people have already done the work? They've done the fundamental analysis for you, they've read the financial statements and all that, and they've put all these stocks together in one such that the volatility is low, because now if it goes down, it means almost every business in that sector goes down. I think, to me, that's what I do. I'm not asking, I'm not going to advise you to do the same, but that's what I'm doing. So I'd say your salary is either going to set you free or it's going to keep you in bondage. The choice is yours. You have to make a decision. Choose ye, or choose ye today who ye shall serve. Okay. And on that note, I leave you until next week. Now, remember, I said I'm going to start making videos on the streets interviewing people. That's what this is all about. So keep an eye out on the next video, and I will see you next week.